Welcome to The Secrets of Success. By following the proven techniques of the guests who appear on this series, you'll learn that even successful people run into detours and failures, and how you can apply their success techniques to change your life.
You're now listening to the most unique show on radio, the show dedicated to making you a success. What is your next 5 moves? Maybe our guest, Patrick BetDavid, can help you decide. Patrick, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Patrick, I'd like you to start off. You've written a great book, Your Next 5 Moves, but I'd like to go back in your life a little bit, as you do at the beginning of the book, and let our audience know how your life started and where you came from.
Sure, absolutely. So I was born and raised in Iran during the Shah Khomeini revolution that was taking place October 18, 1978. Lived there 10 years. Eventually, we left Iran July 15th, 1989, went to Germany, lived at a refugee camp for a couple of years and came out to the States in Glendale, California. I ended up joining the Army, got out of the Army, wanted to be a bodybuilder. I was going to be the next, Middle Eastern Arnold, marry a Kennedy, win a few Mr. Olympias, go into Hollywood, create all these businesses. And then I ended up meeting a girl who introduced me to Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, and I started working with them a day before 9/11. I ended up getting my Series 7, 66, 31, could sell stocks, bonds, futures, commodities, all of that stuff. And then I stayed in the financial industry from 2001 till today. And I left Morgan. I went to Transamerica, was there for 7.5 years. Had a great time. October of 2009, started my own insurance company, grew it from 66 agents to now roughly 18,000 agents nationwide. And accidentally started my own YouTube channel. Originally was called just my name, Patrick BetDavid. 3-4 years later, we changed the name to Valuetainment. And, grew it to what it is now with a few million subscribers online.
You make it sound like the milkman or the mailman, something we all do every day, have 17,000 people working for us and millions of people listening to our YouTube channel. So nothing special right there. Now, you mentioned in your book, you say, who do you want to be? And it starts off that way. Why is that so important? And what kind of answers do you get back from people?
You'd be amazed. Like if somebody's never read the book and like throughout your day today, if anybody that's listening to this or even Bill, throughout your day today, just ask your kids, your grandkids, your employees, the guy at the front desk, the guy that's your director, whoever, who do you want to be in life? You will be, the reaction most people give, they're startled by the question. What do you mean? Who do I want to be? What do you mean? What kind of life I want to live? Recently, a few weeks ago, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl, right? And he ended up beating Pat Mahomes, which he is a great face of the league. I think Patrick Mahomes is phenomenal for the NFL because the guy's humble, likable. He's not arrogant. He's not cocky. He wants to play. He's fun. But he beats a 25-year-old guy, Brady does. 43 years old, wins a 7 Super Bowl. 7 out of 10 times. He lost twice to the Giants, which he should have won. It was close call for him to win it. And he loses recently to the Eagles, which they could have won. It was a miraculous win that he could essentially be a 10 out of 10 guy if you think about it, right?
Correct.
What the hell is he doing playing at 43? See, most people look at him and say, he's out of his mind. He's obsessive. He's narcissistic. He's got mental issues. He probably sees more psychologists and therapists. You have to have mental issues to want to play. Nope. He knows exactly who he wants to be and the kind of life he wants to live. And that's what matters the most. I'll talk to some guys and I'll say, man, I want to be an entrepreneur. Tell me why. That's because that's what everybody's doing. No, forget about what everybody's doing. What do you want to do? Do you really want to be an entrepreneur? You really want to have the pressures of 24/7. You're about to go out of business, raising capital, enemies, defamation of character, rumors, online rumors. Somebody leaves you, becomes a direct competitor. You're trying to sleep, then you think about getting married, then you do get married, you're trying to make your marriage work while you're running your business, then you have kids, then you're trying to keep your mom and dad happy and your friends, and you don't have the time to work out. Do you really want that life? I didn't know it was going to be like that. Well, that's being an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to work for an entrepreneur where you work your tail off and eventually get an equity in the company and you have an exit in the company, you make a few million dollars, and you do that. And if the next time you want to start and be an entrepreneur, now you got $5-10 million in the bank. I don't know who I want. Then that's good. Now we're talking, right? So I think those types of conversations get people to realize what kind of a life they want to live. One of my associates 11 years ago, he decided to kind of step away. He's like, you know what? It's just, I don't want to work over here. I'm going to go do my own thing. I said, great. He goes, comes back 6 months later. He says, I'm married. I'm like, what do you want me to do? He says, I'm married. I said, bro, billions of people get married. Are you looking for like a high five? He says, I'm married. Who'd you marry? Married somebody that's got 2 kids. I said, okay. Do you want me to tell you what you really just did? Or do you want me to tell you like, awesome, it's going to be wonderful? No, I just want to say, well, first of all, I'm happy for you. That's great that you're married. But let me tell you, marriage is one of the hardest things you'll ever do in your life. It's not easy. Think about how often we don't even get along with ourselves. Like think about in your own mind, how many arguments we have. And then now add another human being in your life and add 2 other kids in your life. And those 2 other kids come from other fathers that are now going to be relying on you to be a good father to their daughter, then the in-laws. Yeah, that's marriage. Well, I didn't think of it that way. Well, that's why. Why'd you get married? Like, why do I? Up until 28 years old, I never wanted to get married because marriage is a complex thing to do. So the same thing with business. And the first question in that book is, who do you want to be? The more time we spend time answering that question, then whatever we do that's solving for who we want to be, that is the best opportunity we can have at being fulfilled and happy in our lives.
And I took a quote out of there because it seems so obvious, but it's so true. All choices are dictated by where you want to go. So once we answer that first question, it's like, to use an example on vacation. If we're going south, everything should be going in that direction rather than north because we're not going to get there. Whether it's educational questions or business questions or, personal growth questions, that really takes us in the direction that we want to go. And frankly, anybody that I know that's been really successful has done some planning and answered those questions ahead of time. You also make a point of saying that we should make pain our fuel. What does that mean?
Because it's never ending. I mean, you're going to get it. It's ongoing. It doesn't matter what we do. That pain is not going away. Pain from loss, pain from humiliation, pain from setback, pain from, you losing to a competitor that you shouldn't have lost to. There's a different story when you lose to somebody that odds are against you beating them. That doesn't feel that, bad as you losing to somebody that you should beaten. Like everything was in your favor and you lost. That's a painful situation to be in. And, when I think about and you read the history books about anybody that ever made it to the highest level, Churchill, Teddy Roosevelt, you go through Kennedy with his back pains and what he had. You go through Reagan. You go through any of the stories of anybody that ever made it to the top. Behind closed doors, you will read about a lot of pain. You will read about a lot of setbacks. You will read about a lot of situations that got them to become who they are. And if you ever played sports and back in high school when there was Hell Week in football and you go through Hell Week, what is Hell Week? What is boot camp? I was in the Army, so Fort Campbell, Kentucky, 101st, and I went to boot camp at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. What is really boot camp all about? Like, what is it? Is it, can you do push-ups? Is it, can you do pull-ups? Is it, can you run 2 miles in less than, 14 minutes? Or is it about how much pain can you tolerate? Is it about how much can you handle? They were doing an interview with Brady. Here's a guy that was drafted number 199, okay? And if you look at the list of people that were drafted before him, whether it's Chad Pennington, whether it's Mark Balger, Chris Redmond, T. Martin, some of the most random names of people that got drafted before him, and then he gets drafted, 199. If you ever look at Brady's picture of him getting drafted in the year he got drafted, he looks like he just left the bar. He's just standing like this, out of shape, no six-pack, little bit of a belly. But nobody knew how much pain this man was willing to tolerate. Nobody knew what this guy wanted to do. Fast forward 20-some years later. I mean, I know we keep talking about Brady stories, but the point is to make it to the top without pain is a fantasy. Those two just don't get together. Anybody that can tolerate the most pain in life and business typically ends up making it at the highest levels.
Now, Patrick, you use the term future truth in your book.
Yeah.
Where does that fit in, and what does that have to do with us?
So future truth. So future truth is if I say, tonight we're going to have dinner at 6:00 at Chops. That is a future truth. I'm casting a vision. I don't know if we're going to make it there. I don't know if there's going to be an accident there. I don't know if everyone's going to be able to make it. I don't know if Chops is going to be open tonight. Maybe they're going to have a crisis. Maybe they're going to have a problem. But I'm casting a vision. Tonight at 6:00, we're going to go to Chops and have dinner. Okay, that's a future truth. It's not necessarily 100% truth, but it's a future truth. The same goes to when, when you hear somebody saying, we will go land a man on the moon. It's not a factual statement. Some people could even say this guy's lying. Some people could even say this guy's all over the place. What are you talking about? We will land a man on the moon before the decade's over with. What is the matter with you? What are you saying? Like, the last thing America needs right now for us to cast a vision that we're not going to do. Are you out of your mind? By the end of it, you know what happens, obviously. Okay. Visionaries live their entire lives in future truths. You'll get up and you'll say things like, one day we're going to imagine if, what if? These are the statements, right? Imagine if, one day we will. These are all things that gets the critics to say, oh my gosh, he's too much of an optimist. I think he's just a car salesman. I think he's just this. But then it gets the people that eventually becomes a reality. History books that said, this man was a visionary. He said this and he did this. Everybody that's listening to this, we ought to practice more future truth. Not too many of them, by the way. Not too many of them. I remember one time we went to a family gathering, and I'll never forget this. My dad's my hero in my life. And we'll go to this family gathering. It's Christmas. And the Christmas party we went to, it's an Assyrian party that we went to. This is 17 years ago. And one of the guys that my dad had a lot of things for, my dad's 78, he's a little younger than him. He was kind of talking down at the family. And by the way, very innocent. Like, it wasn't even that bad. But it's amazing how much it bothered me. And I said, yeah, I just can't do this, Dad. He says, well, I said, we're not staying here. So what are you talking about? I said, we're not staying here. We're leaving. Pat, we're not leaving. I said, Dad, we're leaving right now. We're not leaving. I'm your driver, and I'm leaving. What do you want to do? So finally he says, I don't know why you do this to yourself. I don't know why you do this to us. I said, Dad, let's go. No one disrespects you like that. Not in front of me. I'm not okay with that. So we leave. We get in the car. I said, let me put it to you this way, Dad. The world is going to know your last name. They're going to have to kill me for them not to know what you did for me. They're going to know what a ridiculous father you are, what a ridiculous leader you are. They're going to know that. That is going to happen. And the BetDavid family is going to get the respect they deserve. By the way, at the time when I said this, 24, 25 years old, I'm broke, $49,000 in debt. I have nothing to my name. I live with my dad. My girl just left me to another guy that I was about to get engaged to. Think about I'm the guy that goes to the nightclubs, I'm partying, dancing, all this stuff. I have nothing. I can't go to Vegas. I can't afford nothing. But that moment, I told that to my dad. I said it to my sister, and I said it to my brother-in-law. The world is going to know this last name. And then I got to work. You don't think my family thought I was crazy? They said, this guy's out of his mind. The point is, you asked the question pain first. That was a painful experience. You don't insult my dad who used to do all the things for you when you were a nobody and now you're somebody. At least give him the praise and the respect. I used that pain. I casted a future truth, and then the rest is history. So I think we ought to use painful moments to cast future truths and then go out there and execute. And if we do that, we'll gain the respect from our family and peers.
Patrick, at this point in the show, I'd like to remind our listeners that you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan. Our guest today is Patrick BetDavid. That's spelled BET-DAVID. His book is Your Next 5 Moves. And Patrick, could you tell us, one, where we could get the book, and if there's a website where we can learn more?
Sure. You can go to Amazon.com to get the book, or Barnes & Noble, and any of the local Barnes & Noble stores have the book. And the best way to find me is if you want to tweet me, it's my name at Patrick BetDavid, or you can go on YouTube and type in my name and you'll see a number of videos and interviews that we've done.
And to our audience, this is one of those fun reads. This is what we like on our show, a book that not only instructs us, but almost like a novel, makes us want to read it. You will enjoy it. Again, the book is called Your Next 5 Moves. Now, I know from the book, Patrick, you say that most people only think one move ahead. You're talking 5 moves. So could you give us an example? Are you talking, let's say, the typical week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Are you talking 5 months or 5 years?
Oh, all of the above. So I break down life into 420s. Like, think about it. When you say 33 years, how many people start a show like you and stay for 33 years? I don't know many. 33 years requires discipline, consistency, and to constantly come up with a new show and prepare for questions and thinking about it the day before. And it takes a lot of effort to do what you're doing for 33 years. But I break down things, phases of life into 420s. And here's how I look at it. Maybe right, maybe wrong, but this is how I look at it. First 20 years of your life, gain some experience, meet different types of people, put yourself in different places. Just make sure you don't make the big mistakes in the first 20 years, like the big mistakes that can really set you back 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Second 20 years, for me, it's go make a killing money-wise. Go make money, okay? Find an industry, get into it, go become the best of the best in that industry. It could be 25 to 45, it could be 30 to 50, but have a 20-year run in an industry to make your money. We are in America. America's the place that offers you the opportunity to go out there and build an incredible life. The third 20 years, use the money that you made to go through your creative phase. This is where your old childlike side comes out, where you start doing stuff that makes no sense. I collect baseball cards. So recently I had two Wayne Gretzky cards that I bought because I love, like a kid, I love baseball cards. I sold the most expensive Wayne Gretzky rookie card ever on the books. One of them sold for $720. The other one sold for $1.29 million. A hockey card. They used to be only $5, $10. It sold for $1.29 million. People said, you're out of your mind when I bought these two cards for $540 and I flipped it for $2 million. But I love cards. I mean, I tell you what, I love cards. I love artwork. I love certain things, right? So the third phase is creative. What is creative? Anything you can do to use the money that you made to build a business or create a hobby or learn whatever you're doing because you have the resource. And the last one is obviously contribution. So now going back to the 5 moves. So essentially what I just shared with you is steps, right? Because the whole thing about your next 5 moves is sequencing. And, sequencing is a guy comes in here right now and says, I'm sick and tired of being single. I'm so tired of it. I want a wife. I want a family. So you ask him why, and he gives you his reasons. Okay, valid reason. Then you say, okay, so what are you doing to find a wife? I don't know, man. I said, look, I talk to you all the time. You're at the nightclubs 3 times a week. Yeah. That's your strategy? Yeah. I said, what kind of a girl are you looking for? I don't know. Somebody who is smart and pretty. Really? Yeah. So you don't care if she's 6'9"? No, she can't be 6'9". So what's the tallest you'll go? Probably 5'7". Okay, good. Now we're talking specifics. What's the shortest you'll go? 5'2". Ethnicity. Can it be anything? I wouldn't mind if she's Latino because I'm Latino. Okay, cool. Religion. Are you fine? I don't care whatever religion. Degree. I really don't care about degree. Can she have kids? I don't want her to have kids. I'm okay if she's got a kid because I'm 38. So you ask all these questions, right? Then after you ask all the questions, so number 1 is what kind of a girl you're looking for. Number 2 is where do you find this girl? Number 3 is let me go tell the world what kind of a girl I'm looking for because almost most of us who met a girl that we married, somebody else introduced us. Number 4 is, let me put myself on all the top 3 right dating websites that is the right quality of people. So all of these things are steps, right? The same thing with business. You sit there and say, I want to make 6 figures. Great. How do we do it? You put a 5, 10-step process. Number 1, why do you want to make 6 figures? Here's why. Number 2, what is the fastest way to make 6 figures? Go shadow somebody. What do you mean shadow somebody? Go work under somebody. If you want to be a great radio person, go listen to a great radio person. If you want to be a great salesperson, go listen to a great sales. If you want to be a great negotiator, go listen to a great negotiator. If you want to be a great anything, go shadow somebody. Shadow them for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and become their best wingman. After then, you become their best wingman. Then ask and say, I'd like a promotion. I like this. I like that. What do I need to do to get equity in the company? What do I need to do to make 100, 150, 200, $250,000, $500,000? Then you move up on the process. So again, your next 5 moves doesn't just apply to business. It applies to how you want to raise your kids. It applies to marriage. It applies to your health. It applies to your spiritual life. It applies to friendship. It applies to every aspect of your life. Then after that is sequencing. Like you don't want to have move number 19, forcing it to be move 3. You'll break things, right? Or something that needs to be move 11. Just be patient. It's supposed to be move 11. Just be patient. Focus on move number 3 and 4 and 5. 11's coming. No, I want to have 11 right now. That's when you break stuff. So the art of your next 5 moves has a lot to do with sequencing, but it applies to every aspect of our lives.
Patrick, again, I'd like our audience to know that if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan. Our guest today is Patrick BET capital DAVID. Patrick BetDavid. He is the author of the book, Your Next 5 Moves, Master the Art of Business Strategy. Patrick, can you tell us where we can get the book and once again, the website?
Absolutely. You can find it on Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble or any of your local Barnes & Noble. You can find it on simonschuster.com. You can find it on any of those websites. Your Next 5 Moves. The number 5 is the numeral number 5. It's spelled out. Your Next 5, Five, moves. So Your Next 5 Moves.
And as always, we try to get enjoyable books that are fun to read and make you successful. And Patrick has hit it on both notes. So you'll love the book, Your Next 5 Moves. Patrick, you talk about alignment in the book. And personally, I think that's very important for people. But could you stress why and why is that so important? You say align your career with your true self. Don't we do that? Like if we study accounting, isn't that what we want to be? Or are we doing that because our parents want us to be an accountant?
Yeah, it's such a, you know how sometimes you go and you have these conversations, what are the keys to success? And you get like 50 different answers from 50 different people. Somebody will say, the key to success is marry the right person. Okay. The ultimate key to success is have a relationship with God. The ultimate key to success is save money, work hard, read books, take care of your health, do this, do that. We hear so many different things. But, after having met a lot of different people in my life, and I'm always auditing and wondering, why is this person this? Why is that person this? Why is this person this? Recently, I just lost an uncle of mine, Luther Al-Khasseh, who is not a blood uncle, but it's a guy that you grow up with, that you call him uncle. They were our family. We're both a series. We go to their place. He died at 95 years old. He's a hardworking guy. His entire life, he worked hard. He owned golf courses. He owned different kind of businesses, trucking companies, lived in a beautiful home, had a beautiful family, was connected to the politicians and powerful players, and a Syrian guy. And he just died, 95. John D. Rockefeller was born in 1839. This guy ends up dying. When he was born, the average age lifespan of a man was 40 years old. He said there's 2 goals he had in life as a kid. One, he wanted to make $100,000, which he made $340 billion in today's money. And 2, he said he wants to live up to 100 years old. He lived to 97 years and 11 months. I mean, in that era, you live 97 years. John Wooden, arguably the greatest college basketball coach of all time, lived 99 years. Why? Why are these men and women living? How do you live this long, right? Well, the more and more I studied and asked people different questions, these are people that did very well, the more I realize alignment is at the top of the list. And this is what alignment is. If I have a certain set of values and principles that I want to live by, okay, whatever these values and principles may be, everybody's is different, but say I have a certain set of values and principles, and my life, the way I live, is not aligned with my values and principles, I am miserable. I'm absolutely miserable at the highest level. Why? Because nothing is more painful than lying to the 1% that matters the most, and it's you. Nothing breaks us more than constantly lying to ourselves. We can get away with lying to a friend. We can get away with lying to our parents, our girlfriend, our spouse. We can get away with lying to our kids. There's one person that has the highest level of consequences that you lie to, and it's you. So I got these values and principles, and I'm living this way. Eventually, I'm like, I don't even like myself. I don't like my own company. I don't like to be around myself. Now, take another person who their values and principles match exactly who they want to be and how they live. You got a very confident person. You got a person that believes in themselves. You got a person that values the words that come out of their mouth. You got a person that other people now value them. You got a person that's now building a reputation in the marketplace where other people start saying, you work with Bobby, you're going to make money. If Jackie tells you he's going to give you that $1 million back, you're going to get that $1 million back. If Larry told you he's going to be there at this time, he's going to be there. If Mary told you she's going to do this, you can bank on it. That's a reputation in the marketplace. So that is why I believe alignment is, 1, the key to being fulfilled and happy, and 2, building a reputation in the marketplace where people will know what they're going to get when they're on your team or they're going up against you.
Now, Patrick, if someone is hearing you say this, obviously you're a man they want to listen to. You're a success and you've come from a tough beginning. What would you tell someone to start doing this week? Is it to think? Do we write these things down first? Is it to read 10 great authors or find a mentor?
All of the above. But again, the biggest, this morning, I sent a message to one of my guys who is one of the founders in our company. And I wrote him a message and I said, look, what is your strategy for getting your business to the next level? And he says, well, we're doing that. It's a very general answer. And by the way, he's one of the founders in the company. He does very well for himself. And then I said, when's the last time you just stepped away from everybody and you got a paper and pen, maybe a board to write on, and just came up with a strategy of how to take this part of your business to the next level? Year and a half ago, we're in Cancun, same exact guy I'm talking about. And he would say one thing, he would do something else. So everybody in the company are like, whatever that guy said, it's just not going to become a reality. His level of credibility was so low, and he wasn't happy. I asked him a question. I said, when's the last time you went and saw a therapist? He says, I'm sorry? I said, yeah, when's the last time you went and saw a counselor, therapist, a psychologist? Are you trying to say I have mental issues? I said, no, I just think you need to talk to somebody that is not involved in your life. He says, what do you mean? I said, a safe person. What's a safe person? Not blood, not friend, not colleague, not coworker. Nobody. Like somebody that is purely a clean slate, they have no clue who you are, that has a track record of being a great counselor. When's the last time you did that? I've not done that. I said, my suggestion to you is go interview 5 to 10 therapists. Okay? They're $100, whatever per hour. Go interview them and find somebody that is not afraid of pushing you, that doesn't just buy your BS and says, okay, what else? Okay, what else? Okay, oh, our time is up. BS. Fire that person. Somebody said, what made you want to do that? How much of that is you? How much of that is your parents? Do you take responsibility? What part of, like somebody like that, right? Okay, you find somebody like that. When you do find somebody like that, you can't lose somebody like that. But what is the purpose of having somebody like that? Because you're having conversations to eventually figure out what your challenge is and what you need to do to take the next necessary step to take your game, your life to the next level. So he did that. All of a sudden, ego is gone. All of a sudden, responsibility is high. All of a sudden, I feel like I need to send a $10,000 check to that therapist, whoever this person is. Like, that person changed my life because my relation with this person improved. What is the moral of the story? There's a major benefit in whoever's listening to this to find somebody in your life that you can just sit down and talk to them, and they're not afraid of your BS. They will call you out. They will push you. They will challenge you, but it's not personal. Like, mom, I always knew you never do this. Can't be that person. It's somebody that knows how to stay neutral with you. And if that person knows how to pull and draw the information out of you, then if you take that and you step back away from everybody, spend a whole day by yourself, spend a weekend. I used to always, on Sundays, go to the beach and I would write, trying to get to know who the hell is this guy named Patrick BetDavid? Why do you have so many issues? Why are you so that? Trying to figure myself out. And then the moment I locked in and I figured out my flaws, my vice, my weaknesses, my strengths, and I accepted myself, I got to tell you, I don't know why, Bill, things just completely turned around in my life. So my number one suggestion would be find someone who knows how to answer the right questions out of you. Go through 3, 5, 10 different people until you find them. Then spend some private time by yourself answering the tough questions of yourself. And then go out there and execute. There's like 64, 65 questions in the book, Your Next 5 Moves, that you can start your series of answering those questions. But I highly recommend taking that strategy.
Patrick, we want to thank you. You're perfectly on time. Thanks so much for being with us again to our audience. Our guest has been Patrick BetDavid. That's BET-DAVID. His book is Your Next 5 Moves. Get them, find out what they are, and you'll follow his path to success. Patrick, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to remind our audience that you've been listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan. Please join us again next week at the same time when we will continue our journey to success.